Hello there everyone and welcome back. It is time I feel to do something experimental, something new. At least something I haven't quite seen utilized in an effective manner before in Battlefleet Gothic. And that's we're gonna be let me just restart. We're gonna be experimenting with a Kaoyang type of focus fleet, and this is what I have in mind. And keep in mind, the main reasoning why I have a lot of these light cruisers is because the Kaoyang benefits heavily from solid running and just conveniently using gas clouds and asteroid belts. But when you combine those together, use my solid running early in the game to kind of give myself that position I need, and then switch over to the lock-on stance if I can get away with it, then I get the exceptional accuracy and double the range bonus while in a gas cloud, and hopefully my opponent will be none the wiser until I spring my trap. It does go into the philosophy of the Tau. They don't believe in defending or holding ground. Instead, they're all about destroying their key targets and then falling back, or just rapidly redeploying to hit their next target. They're all about strategy, they're all about flawless execution. So, does that work in Armada 2? This will be the test to see, I suppose. And the main thing with Kaoyang to keep in mind is we need a bait. Guess what might be the perfect bait, if I can use it properly. This Custodian has 6 fighter bays to it. It's going to have 4 charges of his bombers, fighters, seeker missiles, and maybe an experimental railgun repair drones if I feel I can benefit off it. So it's got incredible longevity. It has really good mobility, especially with the upgrades. I kind of am encouraged to increase its speed and turning radius, just so I can continue to benefit from those hidden long-range harassment tactics. Since we are doing the patient hunter after all, baiting him into as perfect a trap as we can get. It remains to be seen if that works out due to the nature of just how long it can take to kill these ships in Armada 2, and the fact we have 5 objectives which may force me into positions I'm not comfortable with, especially with what we've seen recently when I've been playing with the Shroud Fleet, how battleships and cruisers can put my Shroud Fleet to shame. And to a big extent, this is going to be a very similar type of style, only I do have the Custodian to help with the capturing of objectives. It's going to provide additional firepower, and yeah, just the additional uses of my abilities can be pretty helpful too. And ultimately, I just have more ships as well, which helps a lot in the terms of firepower, I want to believe at least. Although I don't have as many fighters, it is compacted into the Custodian, which gives it a lot more resilience as a squadron. And I have only 2 seeker missile charges to my light cruisers. But even then, with the Custodian, with good concentrated fire, it is still the same number of seeker missiles, if not slightly more so, per salvo. But I honestly don't know how optimistic I should feel about this fleet, but it is something new, so hopefully you will be able to enjoy this ride with me. Okay, Army Strong, Imperial Navy. This is probably as good of a start as I could probably ask for testing this fleet, since the Imperial Navy are probably pretty close to what you would consider a nice solid average fleet. They're not really mobile, they do have a lot of firepower still even at long range, and they are dangerous in close. It's just their mobility that does hinder them slightly against more agile opponents. But ultimately, I like to think they're pretty solid all around. It just comes up to the player to get the most out of them. Of course, it does depend heavily on what kind of fleet they're utilizing, so that could be the exception. So here's what I have in mind. I'm going to try and separate these into 2 separate fleets, in a similar fashion of how I used my 6 Protector fleet, or even my battles with Tau beforehand, where I like to separate the cruisers, so that way one's almost always shooting the fleet, while the other one's serving as a bit of a bait and kind of doing feinting runs and retreating from them. It is an honest question if repair drones is a good idea though, I will be serious. Since ideally I don't want the sauces and everything to take hits, and the Custodian is probably going to need the health to regenerate over time. But at the same time, the Pulse Wave, which could be useful, and Stasis Bombs can be handy. It just comes down to what do I honestly expect from my opponent. That I could not tell you. And actually, let me run with you. I kind of forgot about that. And I need to pay attention to my layout. My opponent has all the terrain, which is kind of interesting. I'm going to have to keep that in mind. I do have a fallback because I have Solid Rhine to at least still benefit from Cao Yang. This is going to be awkward though. And I'm going to have to listen for maybe a mission dissipator. That might be a possibility here, or it's in the gas cloud. And I do have a mission dissipator, so let's feel free to boost without killing my ship. Alright, so we know there's a flagship there, that's kind of a given. And I could boost with these, but it does give away an audio cue, but I don't realistically expect my opponent to be aware of that, so I could maybe get away with it. I'm just... Actually, I want to bait them over this way, actually. So that way, my Custodian has, like... It gives these ships the freedom to use these gas clouds and asteroid belts. And the Cao Yang does work with the asteroid belt, even though I take damage. And even gives an accuracy penalty if I'm feeling so bold to try and use them for... To kind of... What is it? To plant my feet in the dirt, or... Plant my flag down in the dirt, I suppose. I don't know what phrase I'm trying to emphasize there. I am just worried about what we may be up against. And we know that's a flagship there.
Ready for orders.
Nah, I'm not going to turn on hold fire, because there's likely light cruisers and all that around. This is definitely a potentially scary fleet. Because if there are a lot of light cruisers, even more so if there's multiple light cruisers up there, these guys are going to die quickly. And I don't have a beacon or anything to use that to my advantage. But I can recall this. And hopefully it'll detect the flagship for me. Alright, so standard upgrades there. Shield recharge. That's a given. I'll see about maybe grabbing this objective, but the Castellan's going to see if there's anything I need to be wary of. And maybe, if this thing is by itself, I would love to try and damage that. Or engage it. Because even the Custodian is going to benefit from the Cao Yang in this position. And I think I'm going to plant my feet down here some. I just got to get everyone in the gas cloud first. So that way, the idea here is to make sure it recharges my stance before an actual engagement is committed. Wow. So there's a lot of cruisers and light cruisers around. Now I actually need to prioritize targets. That's something I'm doing a bad job here. Interesting.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Oh, these are melted torpedoes, so by all means I'll take these hits. In all honesty, let me just make this more difficult for them somehow. If I can... They only have 50 armor, so let me try and ram them. And have them help me in the process. This is a weird exchange, but now we know what their strategy is. So let's kill as many of these frigates as possible. And this is at risk of breaking, so a silly strategy, because it's risking killing my own ships. And the light cruisers are coming as well. Actually, it's hard to tell which one, where my light cruisers are because of the visual clutter. So I have Solid Rhine up. These frigates are about to die in a moment. And they burnt all their missiles, and I'm engaging this flagship freely, or was. Alright. A bit of a weird match. I'm going to take some more Meltas. No, those were regular dumbfire torpedoes. And I think I just got hit with Melta Bomb, or was it Novacan, because this is an apocalypse, keep in mind.
The patient hunter gets the prey.
Although, dang it, that's unfortunate. I messed up my bombers. Get these out. They have more mobility, so maybe I can get them out safely enough. Just disengage. I have Salt running. The one ship that died was the one that braced for impact. And now that they're invisible with a mission dissipator, I am in good shape.
Aircraft ready for orders.
And hell, maybe these might engage the ship as well, but I think they might serve me better grabbing the objective. And I did take some damage, but not a lot. Can I fire more seeker missiles? Oh yeah, I'm hit with a beacon, but I am in a gas cloud. That's not a big issue yet. But can I actually kill this thing is what I want most. I messed up with my bombers. My seeker missiles coming. And this bomb could slow that down for me pretty well. And actually, let me lock on. It might not do me a whole lot, but since they're running away from me anyway, the frigate's gone as well, so at least they're getting value out of this.
Drones have identified an enemy target. Patient hunter gets the prey.
Kill the flagship. It's like what I want to do here, because the custodian alone can deal. There we go. Can deal with these light cruisers pretty damn well. It's not the match I was kind of expecting, though. And that's twice my custodian bombers got denied. Which is kind of sad, but... And I am taking Novacan shots. I am hearing it. But again... I don't think I'm at any real risk. I just gotta make sure I reveal this thing. Well, actually, seeker missiles are gonna still connect if it's not gonna move. Now... I want to launch bombers on you. So now let's actually connect for a change, please. By obliterating this light cruiser. That's one down. 4 more to go. And how's the flagship? Oh, the flagship's still alive. It's mutinied, but it's still alive. And these only have 50 armor on, or 67 armor on the prow, don't they? So let's get aggressive. Let me fire seeker missiles with that said, because now I have a clear window for it. Get repaired, get turned around. And hopefully my seeker missiles did damage, because they don't have fighters to support them, which is where this strategy kind of falters compared to the regular protectors. At least it's one my opponent could hopefully enjoy. I want to say hopefully. Because now we're about to obliterate another light cruiser. Behold the power that is the Custodian, if only I hadn't missed that shot. And also another thing to note, my Custodian has like 9,000 unit range of boarding potential. So it's pretty good in this regard for doing a little bit of boarding damage. I'm just not well equipped for it with the rest of my fleet. Alright, disengage, disengage. I'll actually let the Custodian... Well, I'll let the Custodian get in the gas cloud so that way it can get the accuracy bonus. And you guys could do the same thing. Now, I was wondering if maybe I could do more boarding damage. And this is another thing. These frigates by default are set to side broadside angles, which is not good for maximizing their firepower. Oh my god. I just realized I had 5 seconds to the dang rally cooldown. That's annoying. Definitely annoying, but nah, something we can recover from. Now let's finish them off. A bit of a weird match. I don't know what kind of notes I could take from this. Since at the end of the day, we only lost 3 frigates and a single light cruiser. For what I would argue, theirs is pretty damn close to what mine is. Almost in their strategy, which is questionable. Just a slight bit, but the torpedoes they connect, I just knew how to deal with those melted torpedoes really easily of the frigates. Hopefully that made for an interesting match for him, though. Where unlike some of my other battles, I would worry for that. I like to think that was tense for him. That could have snowballed against me if they were able to do some serious damage to the custodian, because I do have bad morale even on this protector fleet. I'm pretty certain. Was it minus 25 bravery? Yeah. So they could break really quickly if the custodian is not protected, or at least made, or at least kept at arm's length. Alright, now we're moving up the stakes a little bit. Now we're face off against Space Marines, and keeping them at arm's length is going to be so damn important. Especially since their cruisers can almost single-handedly kill the crew of my light cruisers. With their, Honor the Chapter, broadside boarding, and possibility of either Thunderhawks or boarding torpedoes, they can kill my light cruisers single-handedly, and that will make for a very short battle if I am not paying attention to that. Also, with that said, let me change the arc of these weapons, since as I said, they're set to fire on broadside, which hinders their firepower. At least it does for these wardens, since they have prow railguns on them. So, I want to fix that. And it is still a question if I want the Castellan to be with the the Sauces or not. I think it's warranted, since it has secret missiles as well, so if it fires a salvo with them, then that's pretty good for me. And I kind of want Stasis Bomb. I don't think a wave projector is pretty good, because that basically is a 4,500 range weapon. So if I can use that on them, then they can already board me and the damage is basically done. And I do like the railgun a lot. And since we are dealing with boarding, I can feel comfortable with not having to use repair drones for this. I just need to be aware of running the hell away quickly. Is the main thing. Actually, let me just use the Custodian to just run down everything, or at least grab all the objectives, bit by bit. Where are my manners? Good thing I checked that.
The ethereals guide us.
Now, I don't necessarily need to use the gas clouds right away, but at least it makes for a decent fallback point to buff me up some. Because if I can get engine critical hits, that helps a lot. And speaking of which, we have some invisible ships around somewhere, so Vanguards, well, Vanguards could be scary. And right now, well, we have a battle barge. It is another lower level fleet, so take all these matches with my fleets with a grain of salt. Because for all I know, I could just be winning due to experience and not much else. For all we know, this fleet could be terrible. So keep an open mind. Let's just enjoy the possibilities, and even if it is not very good, maybe there's possibility for buffs in the future to make it relevant.
Has seized a strategic area.
And I know there's... Oh, I burnt all my combustion gauge. That is the last thing I need. And that's gonna be fatal if we were dealing with something that wasn't battle barges. Although it's still possible there could be Vanguards around too. So I think it's time to spread these out to see... Yeah, there's kind of part of my justification right there. There is a hidden ship over on the right. That gives it away. And they are basically what I want to focus on. And I don't suspect there is a micro warp jump, because you figure we would see a Kulexis assassin or something, maybe. Alright.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I am well protected here, and they only have 2 charges of fighters.
To spread the greater good.
So Custodian single-handedly deals with them.
The tower shall prosper. We serve the Corvatra.
Now prioritize the engines. They have low resistance. We're just gonna have a hard time hitting them.
At your orders, Koro. Honor the teachings of Rio.
Now, can you guys do damage here? Maybe if I can get to the gas cloud, that'd be good. I just don't want to get these ships run down, ideally. And be mindful of the battle barge. I could always forget about the battle barge. Okay, combustion gauge was preserved. That's good there. Okay, you disruption bombed me. Oh, that was the wrong fleet for one, so that doesn't help. So just do what I can, wait for the bombers to become available. And at the same time, just let these ships do their damage.
Strike the killing blow.
Boarding torpedoes come in. I have fighters. And thankfully, I shot down their boarding torpedoes really well. Although apparently my seeker missiles did crap. I don't know. With a light cruiser right in front of me, you figure the seeker missiles would actually hit. Oh, maybe I killed it too quickly. Oh, I killed the ship in general. That's what happened. So these guys need to get the hell out. I do have Salt running to help in this exchange. Now, can we get this out? Can we kill it with the seeker missiles? Sadly, not the best connection. But we have more bombers, we have seeker missiles, that thing's pretty much dead.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
Alright, so that's making up for it now. We did kind of forget about one of our frigates, but these frigates are a huge liability just because I can quickly hit them so damn well. And I'm hoping I'm close enough to kind of board to hit them with the seeker missiles. Yeah, just kill this thing, grab the objective, and prepare the killing blow on our adversary on the battle barge. The real threat. Because this thing is basically dead because of fire assaults. Now, let's spring the trap. And actually, what I'm going to do is kill is point defense. I'm going to launch a full salvo of fighters to deal with their boarding parties. In this case, I feel like maybe they're frustrated if I were to wish them good game. Because they kind of flew their vanguards into me. They did inevitably get erased without too much difficulty. And the battle barge wasn't there to support them. So I like to think it worked pretty well, but I was relying heavily on getting the critical hits and not so much doing damage, I think. I like to think, but did I really abuse the engines being critically hit that much? Outside maybe one seeker missile salvo? Well, maybe the bombers. The bombers did real work with the custodians, so maybe I benefit off that. But still, take these matches with a grain of salt. I would like to try at least face off against one of the more regular type of fleets, or at least the ones we regularly encounter, so at least we can put this to at least a true test. Okay, this might be interesting. I feel like I encountered Bowcaster before. I just can't remember where, or even what kind of fleet they were utilizing as a result of that. So, it comes down to what do we expect from our opponent? Is it the 4 crew war spears and the light cruiser hitting somewhere? Are we dealing with 6 protectors? Could it be something much like mine, but without as much focus towards the Cao Yang style? We will know that in just a few moments, folks, so let's try and keep the suspense low and actually get this group assembled quickly. Because I can grab these objectives here easily enough with the Custodian. And I don't think I ever want to give away where my light cruisers are at all if I can help it. So I think I'm just going to use that kind of a fall back with the Custodian towards that objective, I think. It's a great way to bait them, and there is terrain for me to utilize some. We'll see how it goes. And I think I am going to need a repair drone for this, since there are going to be a lot of railguns. I'm more likely to suffer due to critical hits probably as opposed to anything else. Because once the engines are down on this thing, it's going to suffer. But with the additional, keep in mind, this thing improves the point defense of all ships nearby and itself. And with the 6 fighter bays, this should in theory be okay. So long as I have it turned around to kind of boost away from the fighters and seeker missiles. I'm just waiting for my opponent to ready up essentially. Because it's a habit I tend to do, especially when I played in the, the Championship Series from Armada 1. Because that way I get to control the initiative that way. And go in guns blazing. Go into full sprint even. Because the match will start as soon as I ready up. If my opponent is ready. But I don't know what to expect here. And mirror matches like this with me trying some awkward and weird type of different fleets are bound to fail spectacularly, you would think. Because mines require more precision and tactical awareness, I suppose. Whereas if you're doing 6 cruiser fleets, it is probably very straightforward at this point on what you need to do. And so far we're looking at possibly 2 custodians. And there's no point in me launching fighters. Oh, there's 4 ships and it looks like we have ourselves 2 Demiurge. I would like to destroy a deck, I would be honest, but those are if those are Bastion Demiurges, they are like the fastest kind of ship that the Tau have access to. So crippling their mobility helps a lot. Especially when I'm going to be constantly feinting my attacks. And I would love to grab this objective. Can I get away with it, though? They are a less experienced opponent, and interestingly, the ship in the Asteroid Belt was the flagship, so maybe they aren't Bastions. That would benefit me nicely. I would like to say I am going to be wedged into a corner, but at the same time, I can easily fall back towards my deployment zone. I just got to be ready to abuse this. And where's that beacon gonna go? Because if I use this asteroid belt, they're probably just gonna just barely reveal me. Which honestly is not a bad thing. I still get the Cao Yang bonus. So Custodian, 2 Protectors. Now let's get ourselves some shots in. And get the hell out quickly. Nope, that was a dumb idea. I tried to do 2 things at once. Now, Gas Cloud is revealed. These guys are hitting, but they're kind of ramming themselves, so let's try and fix that some.
We serve the Corvatra. Patient hunter gets the prey. We serve the Corvatra.
Yep, as soon as I repair it, it gets another fire result, so inconvenient. They are going to be revealed when I grab the point, and hell, I can use this asteroid belt for security. Probably not my best execution, because I kind of flew right into their range. But at the same time, I have the objective, and I can use that for fission. And this is just going to break immediately, isn't it? And there's a ship over here. I would love to grab that, whatever it might be. Now I'm getting the full benefit. I just got to make sure I'm actually targeting these things properly, because Yep, bombers are going to reveal them. They are just staying hidden for the time being.
Aircraft ready for orders.
We have no idea what's over on the left side.
To spread the greater good.
If I'm lucky, maybe I can kill the Castellan. That would be nice, but Custodian's not doing the damage it needs to. Yep, because you have to get outside vision. That might not work.
Drones have identified an enemy target.
Nope, now it
How may
might.
I serve the
Yep,
town?
it's outside vision now, alas.
Honor the teachings of
But I
Valor.
still got 2 objectives to their 2. I would have liked to reveal their ships though,
Dramatic
but
drive engaged.
actually, I could still kind of do that.
As the ethereals wish.
I do lose a charge of bombers, but I have 4 charges of
Courier,
bombers.
ready.
It's not the biggest loss. I just got a little too greedy, I
Drones
suppose.
have identified an enemy target.
And we see all their ships. It is a hybrid fleet with extended sensor range and all that.
At your orders, Koro. The ethereals guide us.
Nope, sadly that died immediately. Wow.
An escort ship is now wrecked.
I figured it had shields still, so I wonder what just hit it.
Target acquired. How may I serve the tower?
And prioritize engines, because I have the objectives.
At your orders,
I
Koro.
was kind of hoping that I run into something over here, but I guess not.
We serve the Kovatra.
So let's just get extra firepower in and ready. Because if my opponent doesn't want to do anything, then
Ready.
I benefit. In all honesty, though, I guess now I'm regretting not grabbing this objective. Because I could be benefiting even more here, with that said. Oh well.
Correct. Ready.
They have a beacon. It is coming towards the Custodian, that's fine, because
Ethereals wish.
I'm going to be long gone by the time it even gets here.
Closing on your position.
No. I can use Gas Cloud. I can use the Gas Cloud maybe. That's not a big deal. I'm definitely going to use the objective to kind of reveal them for me.
For Anva, it will be so.
And I'm going to grab 2 more points, but let's not go in the asteroid belt yet,
Serve the
please.
Kovatra.
Go around and then go in, I suppose, is what I want to do.
Anva, it will be so.
Help minimize the damage some.
At your orders, Koro.
So that looks like a frigate, that's fine. I'll snipe you
Courier,
shortly.
Ready. Gravitic drive engaged.
I was kind of looking for you, but I guess I was sort of assuming you were maybe a frigate or something. Or light cruiser is what I mean to say.
How may I serve the tower? The ethereals guide.
Now, kill that.
We serve the Kovatra.
Burnt all my combustion gauge, alas,
Honor the
but
teachings of Vior.
I'm not
The
too
enemy
worried.
has accumulated 25%
Oh yeah, and you have
strategic
extended
points.
sensors, so that's something I gotta keep in mind. And guess what? That doesn't mean much here.
Greater good. Barracuda shoals launched.
You have
Just deal with these
accumulated
frigates.
25% of strategic points.
Drones have identified an enemy target.
And even if I get revealed, that's not a big loss, cause or even if these ships are revealed, I'm not really losing any power. And they are currently revealed, so
At your orders, Koro.
can't get too complacent. And I have a frigate,
Aircraft ready for orders.
which I'm gonna use to try and spot in a bit.
The patient hunter gets the prey.
Actually, I'll let that frigate die. Less frigates they have, the better.
Aircraft ready for orders. Honor the teachings of
I'm just gonna
Vior.
reconceal myself. Get these ships ready to do. Actually, no, stay in the gas cloud.
Gravitic drive engaged.
Grab the objective here. I have fighters, I have repair drones,
Gravitic drive
and I'm just gonna
engaged.
mitigate a lot of this damage,
You
I
have
think.
seized a strategic area.
Patient hunter gets the prey.
Now let's kill
How may I serve
the
tower?
frigate the best we can. Because they are not utilizing their abilities there. They should be launching fighters.
To spread the
And thankfully that
greater
works well for me.
good. For Anva, it will be so.
So I gotta be mindful of engine critical hits. That frig is gone. I want it to be gone, but I want some more hits
You have
first.
seized a strategic area.
Alright.
The Ethereals guide us.
Point defense, do your thing.
The tower shall prosper.
It's gonna take a little bit
Honor
of
the
extra time
teachings
though.
of Viola.
But they are getting shot down.
For Anva it will be so.
A little bit of damage there, sadly.
The patient hunter gets the prey. By my sept, we shall attack.
And I have a beacon on me, so this... Now we're gonna have to commit, I suppose. And dang it, that had to be a miss. That's a shame.
Barracuda shoals launched.
Start killing their weaponry.
Aircraft ready for orders. The Ethereals guide us.
And that only hit one ship, thankfully, so I'm thankful for that.
Activated.
I have fighters to defend.
To spread the greater good.
So long as they're in the asteroid belt, and keep in mind they are getting the accuracy bonus too.
Weapons hot.
So this is still pretty good.
Systems taking
Ah, dang it. My fighters did not intercept the bombers at all. And apparently they hit... I'm just wondering what hit this ship, with that said. Because they had full health, but that was probably from the bombers as well. So repair drones underway. Alright, these are shooting. Just engage, use
Accumulated
your
50%
firepower to your
of
benefit, I
strategic
guess. And ideally,
The patient hunter gets the prey.
keep these hitting. I can outlast this with the good use of the asteroid belt.
At your orders, Connor.
Maybe not the most exciting, because after all, it is a dang mirror match.
Aircraft ready for orders.
And I want to launch fighters. Well, I have to recall my fighters first, I guess.
The Ethereals guide us.
Now, can we actually hit this light cruiser? I'm a little bit miffed that I had to miss that.
Drive engage.
Missed again, because it's not the most helpful. Alright, you guys get on in. We're going to engage the Custodian, because we got perfect broadside angle.
We serve the Corvette.
Versus their 83 armor that they're dealing, or having to deal with.
The tower shall prosper.
Although it's time to just evade, I guess, because I am still out in the open.
Drive to maximum. For Anva it will
And
be
hopefully the point defense can kill these really well. My secret missiles are doing crap until my fighter's bored. That's something to keep in mind.
serve the tower.
And thankfully I have my other fighters kind of shooting this down.
Spread the greater good. Barracuda shoals launched.
Alright guys, get in there, do your damage.
Corel, let
They are doing better because of the dang beacon though. If only slightly.
at your orders, Connor.
Now let's just change that.
To spread the greater good.
Actually, if my frigate could grab the beacon, that'd be nice, but not happening here.
Hunter gets the prey.
How may I serve the tower?
Alright, get these guys in here next, I suppose. Because I have 4 objectives still, keep in mind.
Your guides teach
Even though I have been kind of passive, there hasn't really been a lot of need to get aggressive, hasn't there?
Corel, let
I'm still pretty much going to win this objective, I just need to get vision.
ready. Honor the teachings of Yana.
Actually, I can feint.
We serve the Corvacha.
Actually, my frigate does have the beacon now, so
Imperials guide us.
I could in theory just run.
Honor the teachings of Viola.
I don't know why my frigate's ramming me, but
Barracuda shoals launched.
I have the same speed as you though, so
We serve the Corvacha.
good luck trying to hunt this down. And thanks for killing your own ship.
How may I serve the tower?
Now get these out of range. Get ready to get out of engagement, because this match is over.
Aircraft ready for orders.
I've been doing a little terrible crisis management with that said.
The Imperials guide us.
And I have been scanner pulse, so I gotta keep that in mind. I'm not gonna be able to get away very easily yet.
By strategic points.
We serve the Korvacha.
Although, now with my lack of scanners, and let's see, I burnt all my combustion gauge, but
50% of
the scanner pulse should expire shortly.
The tower shall prosper.
I'm hoping.
At your orders, Koro.
You are now in a stuck position, you can't do anything about it.
How may I serve?
I'm afraid to admit.
Korel, ready. The patient hunter.
So what I
gets
would
the
love to
prey.
do is have these guys go and harass the flagship
How
some
may I
more.
serve the tower? As the ethereals
I just
wish.
need combustion gauge in time.
Gunners, hold your fire.
Oh well, this match is over. I apologize for this being a very simplistic type of match, but I guess
Closing on your position.
that's kind of the consequence of mirror matches. Even if I took a 6 cruiser fleet, it would technically be the exact same.
To spread the great
You have accumulated 75%
Well, it was still
of
tense.
strategic points.
I just stole the points behind my opponent, and they want the turtle all game. I just took advantage of the slower paced nature of it. Is what it ultimately came down to. Not exciting though, I admit. But I can't say I demolished them either. In fact, I kind of would have been at risk of losing that match just because I did a terrible job of my frigates, I suppose, kind of constantly revealing them. Because if I could have kept doing shots on them throughout that entire thing, then I would have weared them down, and hell, I was wearing them down quite well. And I think they used up almost all their bombers, so it was just railgun fight versus railgun fight at that kind of distance. And I, at the very least, have Cao Young to help with that a lot, especially with the gas clarinet. But that's just mirror matches in general, I suppose.